Now, Hera is not only a great friend, but a fierce advocate. Lady Gaga has been the voice for people who have been forgotten and people who have been abused. Until it happens to you, well, it happened to her. And she's shown enormous courage. And we want to make it real clear. It's on us. It's on everyone to intervene, to stop abuse when they see it and when they hear about it, to intervene. It's no man has a right to raise a hand to a woman for any reason other than self-defense, ever, period.
And that's not to leave out the men as well.
That's true.
I am a sexual assault survivor, and I know the effects, the aftermath, the trauma, psychological, physical, mental. It can be terrifying, waking up every day feeling unsafe in your own body. But we're here to remind you that it's important to reach out to someone in your life that you can trust, and to know that they will be there to help you. There will be someone to listen. Because you know what? It's on us.
So you hear what old Joe Biden said, do you? And you hear what Lady Gaga said, yeah? That she's been a victim herself. So let's take a look at Lady Gaga. Yeah, you're looking at her right here, yeah? This is the so-called victim. What is she doing on the bed? Oh, yeah, all victims do this type of stuff, don't they? Yeah, this looks like a real victim, doesn't it? It looks like a joke put in your face is what it looks like to me. There you go. There's Lady Gaga. There's your victim. Yep, she's been a victim herself. Yeah. And you notice how they're centering it right back to, oh, well, then, never mind. They gave one little statement. Oh, and guys, that's right. She said, and guys. And Joe, well, you know, he was, I don't want to talk about that. You could tell by the way Joe answered there when she said, and guys. But I thought I'd show you that. So you seen all that, didn't you? Yeah. And you know that Joe Biden was the one that was taking credit for the Violence Against Women's Act when he first came in as vice president with Barack Obama. And you seen all the women right there when he first came in with Barack Obama. You never heard him say there's no excuse. Well, you did hear him say there's no excuse to ever put your hand on a woman. And he stopped at that. This time he says there's no excuse to ever put your hand on a woman, but within self-defense. So, over the years, I guess, somebody drove it into his head, self-defense. But you're still wrong, because you're saying there's no excuse to put your hand on a woman. Well, there's no excuse for anybody to put their hand on anybody. It has nothing to do with gender. There's absolutely no excuse for anybody to put their hands on anybody. It has nothing to do with gender, never has and never will. So we're still keeping the gender narrative going though, ain't we? Yeah, we sure are. Would we expect any less? I don't. Not from these criminals. And for Lady Gaga, that's a real joke. I've been a victim myself. Anybody that's ever watched her concerts or music videos, anybody that's ever watched it has seen the explicit, the outright in-your-face sexual behavior. And so that makes it a joke. When you got somebody pushing sex to the fullest like that in people's face, dressing the way she's dressed, doing everything she's done in everybody's face for all these years, and then claims to be a victim herself. You know, all I can say about that is if you prance around three-fourths naked, you're pushing your body in people's faces, you're pushing it all over them, and then somebody touches you somewhere after you're doing this to them, you're not a victim. No, you're not. You're not a victim. You know, you can't dress three-quarters naked. You can't take off your clothes and rub your body on somebody and push it all over them, and then if they touch you, call yourself the victim. Because when you represent that behavior, you're not a victim. You're the perpetrator. You're the instigator. You're the one that started it. You're the one that manipulated it into happening in the first place. So therefore, you don't qualify as a victim and never will qualify as a victim. A victim don't get 3/4 naked or lose everything but their bottom part while they're wearing a G-string thong bikini bottom with their butt hanging out, with their boobs exposed, rub themselves all over somebody, and then if that person touches them after they wind them up, we're going to say, "Oh, I'm a victim." No, you're not. You're not a victim. You're the instigator. She's a bad example. He's also a bad example. The real reason they done this was to keep that division going. To keep that division going. That's right. We got to keep that division alive and healthy, don't we? Got to keep the men and women fighting, don't we? Yep. That's the real ploy behind this. And of course, you know, we're pushing problems that really don't exist. Oh yeah, there's sexual assault, but very rare. But don't worry, it's going to get more common, isn't it? Because the more division you create amongst the genders, the more stereotypes you create amongst the genders, the more men that are pushed out in a world where you're promoting sex and you're pushing sex in their face and you're pushing sex in their face and you're pushing sex in their face, but then you're denying them and laughing, thinking it's all a game. One day this problem they're claiming is at this all-time high that it's not and never has been, unless you're in the prison system, will become an actual problem. Then you won't have to claim it no more because it'll be a reality. That's what you're doing. You're going to create the actual problem. Then it will become a reality. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying there isn't sexual assault, because there is. But they want you to believe it's a whole lot worse than what it really is. But don't worry. You just keep that division alive and healthy. You keep pushing your stereotypes and your programming and keep us divided. And you keep placing that woman up on that pedestal over and over and over and over and over. And you just keep her right where she's at. She's doing a wonderful job right now of creating her very own killer. That's right. And she's going to do a wonderful job on creating the person who raped her. And then she can go look in the mirror to see why that happened to her. It happened to her because of all of the other hers that went right along with this behavior and turned it into a game and thought it was awesome and had their big old ego trip going and their power trip going while they were busy hurting somebody deliberately because it was part of the game. In an over-sexualized world, as you deny, and so many men are denied in an over-sexualized world. And these women are loving it. It's all a game. It's all a toy. It's all fun. And what they're really doing is the same thing they've already done when they've created their own killers. And don't get me wrong, because men create their own killers too. They sure do. So when I say create their own killers, I'm not talking specifically just women. I'm talking both genders. But when it becomes to the division amongst the men and women in the sexual marketplace in the world that we're in right now, where sex is promoted as bad as it's promoted, the women's will become the victim of their own doings. And then this problem that they're saying's happening, that isn't nowhere near what they're saying, will become just exactly what they're saying. And then women will have a problem. They'll have a problem, all right, but they will be the ones that created it through listening to you fools, because they didn't use their own heads to begin with. They was busy with their ego, their high egos running in their power trips. They was feeling big and tough and smart and intelligent while they were hurting somebody because they made themselves so good. Now they're going to be getting hurt. You know, Warren's talked about this before. Lots of guys talked about this already. It's coming. And it is coming. Unless you turn this situation around. But then again, on the other hand, we have sex robots that they're manufacturing now with artificial intelligence, right? Maybe a bunch of you guys are going to jump for the sex robots because they don't talk back, they don't carry diseases, they don't chase you for your bank account, they don't lie and manipulate you to play games. They don't hurt you, go out of your way to hurt you, though they may kill you one day. That's right, they may very well kill you. Of course, you want to worry about being hurt if you're dead, right? Because, after all, the manufacturers building these sex robots are being controlled by the very people who want population reduction. I'm sure they'll have cameras in them and recording devices in them. And they'll be watching your every move. And sooner or later, they'll put a hidden weapon in it that you don't know is in it. So I trust that about as far as I can throw a car, in a sense I can't pick the car up to throw it anywhere. That's how far I trust that, isn't it? But I thought I'd throw this out there because in the reality, what you're seeing here is, let's keep the division alive. Let's let somebody that is a very, very, very poor case for saying that it being an example of sexual assault. That's about one of the shittiest people you could use to be an example of sexual assault. And why do I say that? Go watch her videos. That's right, go watch her videos. It won't take you long to figure out that she would be the instigator. If she actually got touched, she most likely instigated the situation to begin with.